Crit fishing may not be the most powerful way to design your character in D&D, but what cannot be denied is it is just a crap ton of fun to take a whole bunch of dice and just yeet them on the table, and this build is going to be able to do that quite often. Starting off with our goals and limitations, this was a challenge build given to me. Now, the stipulations for this build is they wanted it to be a lucky character, and they said similar to the Fallout series. In Fallout, what luck is used for is critical hits and gambling, and I thought those were two really fun things to put together. So that brings me to the concept for this build. When I thought about critical hits and gambling, what came to my mind is kind of a cowboy type vibe. We have our duster, we're a degenerate gambler, we like to drink, but the cool aesthetic with this character is that if you were to open up his duster, on the inside lining, he has a ton of wanted posters, all of the people he's hunting, but the most prominent wanted poster is of himself. He's quite proud of it.
I just can't get my nose right.
Starting off with our lineage, we're going to be a wood elf. Now, the main reason is that we need to be an elf for Elven Accuracy, but I decided to go wood elf because I liked that extra movement speed. It helps us kite just a little bit better, and we're going to get movement speed from other places, so we end up being freaking fast. Elves are also just really good with their magical sleep immunity, resistance to the charmed condition, and dark vision. Just a solid race. As for our stats, we're going to be doing dexterity, constitution, and wisdom in that order, but we're going to want to make sure that our dexterity is odd, so that when we take the half feat, that it's going to round it out for us. Take note here that we just said the big 3 saves, so we're naturally going to be pretty resistant to saving throws. Now for our leveling structure, we're going to be going 4 into rogue, 3 into champion fighter, and then the rest into rogue. So let's start off with our early levels. We are going to build ourselves to be a hit and run crit fisher. A crit fisher really needs 2 elements to be good. You have your crit consistency and you have your crit potency. Crit consistency is how often are you getting them, and potency is how big is their impact. And with this build, we're going to be able to have both. We're going to have crit consistency as well as an incredible amount of crit potency. It's a good balance between the two. With our first level into rogue, I'm going to be taking expertise in sleight of hand and deception. It just feels like the 2 skills to have for a degenerate gambler. And now we have sneak attack and we can do normal rogue things. Our weapon of choice is going to be the heavy crossbow, but we don't have proficiency in it yet, so we're going to be using the light crossbow until we get it. And that continues through level 2. We're still just playing basic rogue. Things really start to change once we hit level 3 and we pick up our subclass, which we're going with the scout. Now the main reason we're going scout is because of our other 3rd level feature, which is going to be steady aim. This is optional, and this build is really built around it, so you want to make sure that you can use it in your campaign. Now, Scout synergizes extremely well with steady aim because steady aim doesn't allow you to move on your turn, but Scout allows you to run away from enemies who are pressuring you on their turn with your reaction. So we still can move and still use steady aim more consistently than anyone else, because on the turn they have to move, they can't use it. For us, we can move before our turn even begins and still get to use steady aim. Now this really comes to a head once we hit level 4 and we pick up our feat, Elven Accuracy. This is going to round out our dexterity, and it's going to allow us to have super advantage every time we use steady aim. Now I have 2 philosophies when it comes to building a rogue. Either we need to do multiple sneak attacks per turn, or we never miss our first one. That's how you squeeze the most damage output from a rogue. This build falls into the class of never miss your first sneak attack. Now at this level, we have Elven Accuracy and advantage. The 2 combined together puts us at about 14% chance to critical hit every turn, and a pretty high likelihood that we are just going to be able to sneak attack every single turn. And this is going to be the core of our playstyle. Move about, set up our attacks, and fire, and we're really online at level 3, level 4, but now we're going to go into champion fighter to try and take what we've done and crank it up further. Every level of fighter really matters for this build. The first level, we're going to get the heavy crossbow, so it increases our damage and our range, fantastic, but we're also getting the archery fighting style, and the cherry on top is that we get second wind. At level 2, we get action surge, so for those rare moments that we do miss our first sneak attack, we can follow up with a second sneak attack. It really helps us to maintain our consistency like a lucky person would have. And level 3, we get champion fighter, which expands our crit range from 20 to 19 and 20, which just doubles our crit chance. So we go from 14% to 28%. Now that's in between every 3 to 4 rounds, we're going to be doing a critical hit. Now from here, I just want to make sure those critical hits really freaking matter. So I'm going to be going back into rogue for the remainder of our career, trying to get our sneak attacks up as high as possible, so when we hit, we just do absolute chunkin' damage. As for our ASIs, you could definitely consider picking up dexterity or resilient wisdom, but personally I'm going to lean into the concept more and take the lucky feat, that we are a lucky gambling sharpshooting type. Now when I visualize this character, he honestly has a revolver, but I wanted to keep it fantasy, so we're rocking that heavy crossbow. But I love the idea of us just chilling at a bar, drinking, spending all of the money that we've gotten from our most recent bounty, getting in some fist fights, and then wake up the next morning, go bounty bounty hunting just to do it again the next night. That's kind of this character in a nutshell. Now with the core of the build completely done, just one thing I want to point out before moving on is this character is fast. By being a scout rogue, we get plus 10 to our movement speed. By being a wood elf, we get plus 5, so we're sitting at a comfy 45. We have bonus action dash, we have action dash, so that puts us at 135, and then we have action surge, put another 45 on top of that. So our top speed is 180 feet in a single round, so when we need to cruise, we can. As I said at the beginning of the video, when you crunch numbers, crit fishing tends to not be the most efficient damage output, but there is just no feeling like rolling your 3d20s, hitting that crit, picking up your 15d6, your 2d8, and just yeeting those dice, spraying them all over the table, and absolutely murking someone. That's a great feeling, and this character is going to be doing that every 3 to 4 rounds on average. That's dope. So whether or not it's the best, I would love to play this character at my table. Now the patron who gave me this challenge build used a deity credit. What is a deity credit? Well, if you join our Patreon at the deity level, you get a deity credit, which you can use to do all sorts of things. You can use it to request a character build, you can use it to request a magic item custom made for you, you can use it to request a one-shot made for you, and you can even use it to request to have a D&D session with the D&D daily team. Now if that sounds interesting to you, check out our Patreon, and at the exact same time know that you're supporting this channel's growth. But with that, my friends, hope you have yourselves an incredible day, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you then.